straight blues song in a major key has been jazzed up with a few chord substitutions, it is almost certain that using just the blues scale or the minor pentatonic scale to improvise over the changes will no longer be the best available option. I don't mean that it would sound bad using the blues scale. I don't mean that it will sound out of key. Let's give it a go. Let's just try using nothing but the G blues scale to improvise over the Stormy Monday backing track. But it doesn't really give you the feeling that you're making the best out of the wealth of possibilities offered by the chord substitutions. Whenever I get this feeling about a song, one of the first things I'll try is simply switching to using what I call the country scale, perhaps better known as the major blues scale. Now this is the scale you get when you move the blues scale pattern down 3 frets. So for example, in the key of G that we've just been using, instead of using this pattern for our first position scale, we move down 3 frets and effectively use the blues scale pattern in E. Or instead of using the 4th position pattern up here at the 10th fret in G, we'd move that down to the 4th position in E, starting at the 7th fret. So let's try that out against the backing track. Happier using that scale as my basic safety net scale for soloing over these changes. It just feels like it enables me to respond more positively to the chord changes and put something a little bit more interesting together. A great way to improve your own soloing technique and style is to take a close look at some of the guitar solos played by the really great guitarists. So for this lesson, we're going to examine the first verse of the solo played by Duane Allman. And this is the first solo that appears on the Allman Brothers' performance of Stormy Monday on the Live at Fillmore East album. Here's the first couple of licks. I play this using the 4th position blues scale pattern. Notice that we reference it to the 7th fret as if it was in the key of E. And this is because the blues scale in E gives us the country scale in G, the major key of this song. So here's that blues scale pattern starting at the 7th fret. And here's the fragment of the solo to start with. And here's the tab. Notice I've made the first arrow symbol nice and long before it bends up to indicate that the note is bent quite slowly. The next 5 notes are played as one quick phrase. And then the last phrase is like a little tag on the end of that. So here's the whole of that first bit in slow motion. Starting fret 10 on the B string with our 3rd finger, supported by your 1st and 2nd fingers to give it nice control. Nice slow bend. Then come back to the 1st finger, fret 8 on the 2nd string. Up to the 10th fret on the top string, quick bend and return. Jump across to fret 10 on the B string, same sort of idea, but back to the 1st finger there with a nice lot of vibrato. So altogether that's and then the little tag at the end down to fret 9 on the 3rd string. 3 quick notes, fret 8 on the 2nd string. And then we just hammer on to fret 10 on that 2nd string. And at full speed, that's something like okay, here's the next bit. Let's take this a chunk at a time. Over the G9th chord, we play, so that's 3 quick hits on the 8th fret on the B string, and then 2 full tone bends at fret 10 on the B string. So at full speed. Then as the chord moves up a semitone to A flat ninth, he reflects this change by bending that note up a whole tone and a half and then back to the full tone bend. So that's like playing. This is a very interesting case of stretching a scale by bending a note a semitone higher than we normally would to accommodate an unusual chord change. Then he moves up to the top string to play a new lick as we shift back to G9. That first lick is then repeated, then it's into a pre-bend. Notice the little letters PB above the tab. So I've got my third finger here, fret 10 on the B string. I bend the note up before I hit it, then hit it, and then unbend it. The 11 in brackets tells us this is a half tone bend. It means play at fret 10 but bend to make it sound as if played at fret 11. So we make this sound as if it was played and that's a great way to practice it. If you're not used to very precise bending, that's the trick. Play it straight, then try and emulate that sound with the bend, release, play. Okay, so at this stage it's probably best if we just recap, go back over those first four bars of the solo again. So here it is, first in slow motion. And at more or less full speed. So apart from the example I pointed out of stretching the scale to accommodate the A flat ninth chord, we can see that the whole of this first four bars is firmly rooted on the country scale or major blues scale pattern. Now as we make the next change to the 2 bars of C ninth, this scale pattern can be temporarily abandoned and we concentrate in on a lick based on the C seventh chord. This is where knowing your chord formulas really pays off. Let's take a quick look. The formula for a 7th chord is 1, 3, 5, flat 7, which means that the C7th takes its notes from the 1st, 3rd, 5th and flatted 7th steps of the C major scale. The formula for a 9th chord is 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9. So it's simply the same notes as the 7th chord, but with one extra note added, the 9th note of the C major scale, in this case D, which you'll notice is simply the 2nd note of the scale, an octave higher. So this means that 7th chords and 9th chords, particularly in jazz and blues, are pretty much interchangeable. So whenever you see either type of chord in a sequence, you can use a lick based on either the 7th or the 9th chord of that name. So in this case, we're going to use a sort of C7th based lick over a C ninth chord. And we're doing this by starting on the flatted 7th note, the B flat, which we're finding on the 6th fret on the top string. So there's our B flat note. We then jump across to the 4th note in the key of C, the F at fret 6 on the B string, and that's really just used as a passing note to hammer on to the G note, the 5th in the key of C, at fret 8. That That's just slid off at that point for effect. And then we come back to the F, note 6, fret 6 on the B string, hammer on back to the G, and bend. And when we bend that note, we've got to bend it all the way up a tone and a half to take it up to the B flat, which you'll remember is the note we started on. So you can kind of tune that in like this. Make that note bent far enough to sound like that note. So here's the whole of that lick again in slow motion. And this lick is repeated for the next bar as well, so it's played twice. And at something like full speed. Okay, so we're halfway through the verse. And this might be a good time to go back over what we've covered so far and consolidate. Personally, I find I have to repeat a solo with this much detail in it many times to get it down exactly. So we'll take a break at this point, and once you feel ready, please do join me in part 2 of this lesson, where we'll continue to work our way through this solo verse lick by lick. See you then.